Detroit, Dwane Casey spoke frequently of his journey in the NBA as he was officially introduced on Wednesday as coach of the Detroit Pistons. He reflected glowingly on the Raptors, the team that fired him on May 11 after Toronto was swept in a second round of the playoffs by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Dwane Casey will be in California on Monday, looking to win the title as NBA Coach of the Year for his season with the Raptors. Nathan Dennett, the Canadian press file photo. Casey, who was already recognized as this season's NBA Coach of the Year by the National Basketball Coaches Association, will be in Santa Monica, California, on Monday, looking to win the title as NBA Coach of the Year when the league holds its annual awards night. That Casey is looking to win the award for his work on a team he's no longer a part of was an irony not lost on him. It's part of the journey. Casey, 61, said of his departure from Toronto. I can say unequivocally that I can hold my head high from what we built in Toronto. There's no animosity whatsoever with that part of the journey. I'm excited about this part of the journey, and that's the most important thing right now. Article continued below. This is a new chapter, read more. Raptors may try to trade their way into NBA Draft. 9 NBA prospects whom every fan should know. Jama Malalela named Raptors 905 head coach. It's a chapter that looks to have lost the plot, not to mention many games along the way. Detroit has missed the playoffs the past 2 seasons and in 8 of the last 9 seasons. It hasn't earned a postseason victory since 2008. We haven't won. Pistons owner Tom Gore said bluntly. That's clear. That's a fact. Article continued below. Yet when Casey looks at the roster he inherits from the fired Stan Van Gundy, he believes he sees more building blocks than when he initiated the process in Toronto when he was hired to coach the Raptors in 2011. Our starting point here is a lot higher than where we started in Toronto, Casey said. That's what is very exciting. Casey, who won more games than any coach in Raptors history but ultimately was let go because like many of his predecessors, he couldn't make the Raptors win in the playoffs, built his Toronto club around a sensational backcourt of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. In Detroit, the assembly will be structured around a dominant front-court pair of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. The most important thing I think is the talent level that you have with Blake, Andre and also with point guard Reggie Jackson to start with, Casey said. Those 3 are veteran players. In Toronto, we didn't have the 3 core players when we started, and then next level of guys, you're talking about Luke Kennard, you're talking about Stanley Johnson, who I've always admired from afar. Then also Henry Ellenson. 3 very young, very talented players. And I'd put Andre in that group as being young. He's 24 years old, just an untapped wealth of talent. The Raptors missed the playoffs in Casey's first 2 seasons in charge. He believes the Pistons are on the cusp of not only being a team that can qualify for postseason play, but capable of making some noise once there. It's similar to what we did in Toronto, and I'm ready to take it to another level, Casey said. He sees something in Detroit that was sadly lacking in Toronto, an antidote for LeBron James, who single-handedly destroyed the Raptors in the 2018 playoffs. Somebody said, "What happened in Toronto in the playoffs?" Casey explained. I said, it's about matchups, and Stanley Johnson is the best matchup for 23 in Cleveland that there is, physically. And also you have Blake there. So, we have 2 guys that physically match up with the mental and physical toughness that it takes to go against a guy like that. I'm not afraid to say it, we have those 2 guys. I'm telling the guys, we're not developing, we're not 2 or 3 guys away. We want to win right now. To do so, one of the roadblocks that could interfere with Detroit's path to glory will be Casey's old team. Maple Leafs head coach Mike Babcock gave Casey a tutorial on the rivalry between Toronto and Detroit. Mike Babcock is a good friend of mine, so I know all about the rivalry, the connection between the two countries. Casey said, "It's a great rivalry. It's what the league should be about, whether it's hockey or basketball. We embrace it. They're a good team up there. We want those buses to come down from Canada and buy tickets, and we want to send them home unhappy."